Elon Musk apparently was convinced that he was the only person who could save those soccer players who were stuck in a cave in Thailand. I'm not even clear how that happened.
No clue.
Do we know how they got stuck in there?
Oh, there was a flood.
Oh, there was flood. Okay. So, and they basically found, I guess, and so they got pulled under, and there was sort of like an underwater cave, I guess, right? I mean, and this guy was a diver who was, and I don't think he was like any type of official, right? He was just sort of like, a rescue worker. He helped locate the soccer players. His name is Vernon Unsworth. Apparently, Elon Musk sent his submarine down there, and ostensibly was going to help. And here is this British rescue worker sort of pushing back on the narrative that Elon Musk actually helped.
What your thoughts on Elon Musk's idea was?
And stick his submarine where it hurts. Just had absolutely no chance of working. He had no conception of what the cave passage was like. The submarine, I believe, was about 5'6" long, rigid, so it wouldn't have gone round corners or round any obstacles. It wouldn't have made the first 50 meters into the cave from the dive start point. Just a PR stunt.
But he went into the cave on Tuesday.
And was asked to leave very quickly. And so he should have been.
Can we put on Elon Musk's tombstone? It was just a PR stunt.
It was just a PR stunt. What are you going to do? I'm sorry. That's Elon Musk. And here's his tweet. You know what? Don't bother showing the video. We'll make one of the mini sub pod going all the way to Cave 5. No problem. Well, sorry, pedo guy. You really did ask for it. So wait, now is he referring to this diver?
Yes.
Why do you want to get in the cave with the kids so bad, huh?
He's literally out of nowhere unless there's like a secret file. I mean, the guy should sue him.
He has
this is
threatened to sue
actually
him.
this is one of the only times where talk about clear-cut case. And can I remind everybody, and I guess this is a precursor, I probably will overly rant about this tonight, but a couple of weeks ago when we did a segment saying, hey, you know this Elon Musk idea, which just happened to coincide with him having an emotional breakdown about a piece of reporting on a podcast he didn't like, to create a website where he personally rates journalists, that this has a little bit of a totalitarian, dangerous impulse. And even people who watch these shows, not all of them, but some of them were still like, oh, so journalism shouldn't have accountability? You know, I'm tired of the negativity. Yeah, so this same guy who's a multi-billionaire who in a hissy fit over not being able to be the one that saved kids from a cave, just with no basis, accuse somebody of the worst thing you could accuse somebody of on earth. Maybe you should rethink your defense of that, you fucking idiots.
I think to a certain extent, it has to be some type of acquired syndrome that once you get this type of money. But the Peter Thiel thing with Gawker, and even on some level, and I wouldn't put Peter Thiel and Bill Gates in the same in the same category in terms of their implications, but in terms of what having that kind of money does, in terms of your assessment, the clear-eyed assessment that you have of what you can do. We just watched Bill Gates, and good for him for on one hand, he deserves some minor credit for wanting to do something that's good, but it ended up doing something that was incredibly, incredibly harmful. And so, net, his hubris was far more problematic. They spent $750 million on imposing an ideology of high-stakes testing to determine the worth of teachers. And the implications of that would be far beyond the $750 million. You saw entire industries sprout out again, around that seed money, and really wreaked havoc on our education system in this country, only to basically come back to the place where any educator that you sat down and talked to would have told you in the first place. I mean, literally, we've had 35, 50 educators on this program over the past 5 or 6 years who have said exactly what the Rand report that the Gates Foundation commissioned at the end of their thing was probably the best thing to do for education. And yet there was, you've decimated an industry. People don't go into teaching anymore because of this. So, there should be some type of like call-in service for billionaires to just like talk them down when they have an idea that no one else will basically, there should be like some requirement before you spend any significant amount of money to do anything publicly, call this line just to get a reality check.
What's the number for that call-in service?
Well, it's doesn't
646-257-3920. I got where she was going.
Thank you.
You know what the problem is with Elon? He cares what you filth think. I'm not tweeting and complaining. I'm just destroying and doing. It was up to me. I'd have a laser
blood
helmet.
drinking.
If I had a laser helmet, I'd just put it on and slit your body in half, Sam. You make under $1 million a year. You're scum. You're nothing. All of you can die. But Elon, even though he's your better, wants your approval.
It's so true, though. And this is my one, it's not defense of Elon Musk, but we should hate the whole ruling class equally, but he just makes himself so vulnerable to it by clearly caring what we think of him that he's an easy target. But he actually does make things, unlike a lot of capitalists who just survive on passive income from things like rent and dividends.
True.
So at least he's a somewhat productive exploiter.
I think that's true, and I said this weekend that Elon Musk is sort of the Jeff Flake of billionaires because he's sort of he makes a show of doing the right thing, and that's what you'd want all billionaires to be doing. But really, it's not going to be enough for really any of the goals that he says he's in sympathy with.
In the end, it actually lets a little air out of the tires that shouldn't be let.
And frankly, the campaign contribution he just gave to I forget
the
Republicans is there it is. That cancels out a couple of Teslas on the road, buddy.
Also, I just want to make one point about free speech, because I know that's a thing that libertarians care about or say that they do. Elon Musk is now, the guy is threatening to sue him or possibly is suing him. And someone retweeted this news yeah, you can't just say whatever you want about people just because you're rich. But actually, you kind of can. He has more money than him, and he probably has enough to just call whoever a pedo that he wants with no consequences. So maybe libertarians should take a second look at that and see that some things other than the government are determining who has freedom of speech and who doesn't.
Yes. There's a multitude of rights that libertarians claim to embrace. But if you take their policy prescriptions to their logical conclusion, they end up not...
you want to know what the difference is?
Sure.
When he sees the children in Thailand, he thinks, oh, I want to be at the center of it, and if I can't rescue them, I don't want them rescued. When I see them, I think, if these kids die at exactly the right water pressure, what kind of quality blood will that deliver for me in terms of zinc formation? And that's the difference.